Hello and welcome to this taster of the recent Worker Training for Hazardous Substances webinar. For this and Chem Safety's other webinars, please see our YouTube channel. The aim of the webinar is to better understand the training requirements for hazardous substances and the records you need to keep. We could summarise the webinar in 10 seconds. You probably train your workers well, but you might not be able to demonstrate this with records. So why do we need to do training? Very simply, you want people to do the job right and you want people to do the job safely. We also need to be able to show that our staff are trained. If something goes wrong from a quality, process, safety or other perspective, you need to have the confidence that you have done all that you reasonably could and that you've got evidence to show this. The focus of the webinar is the Health and Safety at Work Hazardous Substances Regulations. There are also training requirements under the Health and Safety at Work Act, the PCBU's primary duty of care to ensure that the work that people do does not cause harm to workers or other people. There are requirements under the General Risk and Workplace Management Regulations that all workers doing any work must be appropriately trained. There are also industry requirements and quality considerations that you will have in mind when you're thinking about the training that you need in relation to hazardous substances. Under Regulation 4.5, the PCBU has a duty to ensure that all workers working with hazardous substances have received the appropriate information, training and instruction. The information includes what hazardous substances are on site and where they are present, reference material including but not limited to safety data sheets. The training needs to include information about the chemical and health properties of the substances, the procedures for safe use, including plant and PPE, what actions to take in an emergency, and the workers' obligations under the Act. And this is the one that we most often find missing when we're looking at records of hazardous substance training. You need to provide supervised practical experience for new workers, including for new workers, recording that you have seen them observe a task, assist in undertaking the task, undertaken that task themselves while supervised, and then have been assessed as competent. If you're taking on new experienced workers, you'll need to make sure that they have received site-specific training, as well as evidence that you are satisfied that they are competent to do the work that they need to do. And we need to keep records of the training. Having good records of your worker training enables you to easily demonstrate your compliance, and it also enables you to see the gaps that you might have and to manage any renewals or refreshers. There's no specific form the records must take, and they can be paper or electronically based. As a compliance certifier, I need to see your worker training records for hazardous substances when I'm doing a location compliance certificate inspection or looking at approving someone as a certified handler. WorkSafe can also ask to see your records. What I'd really love to see is records that are easy to follow and a single place to look that gives a good overview of your records, and it's easy to see which records are covered, which elements of the regulation, so we can check that it is compliant, that you're meeting all of the obligations. Your training records need to include who attended the training, when the training was and where if that is applicable, what the training covered, so including a course summary or syllabus, who did the training and are they competent, was there any assessment associated with the course, so that's something they attended or did they pass it, and does it expire? If it's something like a driver's license or a certified handler certificate, that will have a formal expiry date, and other training will have recommended refresher or renewal dates as well, and any other relevant information. Records can take any sort of form really. There might be attendance records, sign-off of SOPs, training checklists, course certificates or qualifications, records of supervision or competency assessment, and recognition of prior learning for people who have existing experience. This is an example of a course attendance certificate from Chem Safety's Chemical Awareness Training. So it includes the substances that were covered, the operations involved, and it outlines what the course did cover and what other training you might need to fully meet the requirements of Regulation 4.5. A good test of that your records are usable is whether you can identify which training Bob has done, who has done the induction module, who still needs to do it, who needs to refresh or redo their first aid training, who is competent to undertake procedure 503 if 3 of the operators are away, and who's competent to train new workers. A good system needs to be easy to be kept up to date. We have a resource, a training checklist on our website. And for the full webinar and Chem Safety's other webinars, please see our YouTube channel. Thank you.